Happy New Year and welcome to the Parent Portal Podcast 2020. Welcome, parents. Welcome, Ms Halls.
Thank you. Welcome,
Yes.
welcome. I'm glad to be back.
Yes, we are both happy to be back with renewed energy, renewed life, dealing with life, but being renewed in life, knowing that we're going forward to accomplish some awesome things this year. Last year was good. How was dealing with the parent portal for you for 2019?
Oh, it was a tremendous experience. I think it opened up a whole new world. Parents to the whole behind the scenes of working with a professional to
Yeah.
provide information for parents. It was a
Yes.
wonderful experience.
Yes, and I'm really happy that we would have been receiving, and thank you to all you parents who would have been sending in your well wishes and saying how much you've been impacted, how much you've enjoyed sharing, and please continue to share. So, welcome to the relaunch, our 2020 edition. This year, we're coming back with more great conversations and guests as we go through the coming weeks. Remember, the Parent Portal podcast continues and will be streamed every Friday on the Student Remediation Center Private Primary School page. And you can also check out Parent Portal on the YouTube channel so that you could share the link and really encourage persons with the information that is being given here. So on to today. Today, Miss, we are chatting about getting prepared for the new academic term. And
Yippee!
preparation is key. I'm sure both of us we know that we can't emphasize that enough. So even as you put on your counselor hat and you put on your social worker hat, Miss, what would you want to share with parents regarding getting prepared? Now, technically, the school term has already started. We are in the first week of school. Students are settling in, but yet there is still space for preparation. What do parents need to know?
You know, one of the things I realized that a lot of children do not turn up for school the first day and the first week. I don't know if parents see the need to take a week extra to prepare. So I'm hoping those of you who have not turned out this week that you are getting the books ready, because a lot of children, they would have hopefully done some reading and some math during the holidays. So getting the books all prepared, those books that need to repaper, getting that done. Things like talking to the van to find out if the van lady is still going to take the children to school, because a lot of parents sometimes on the first day you see them running in late and they're saying they didn't realize that the van lady no longer working that route.
Wow.
Yep, so we have a lot of things that we hear on first day or first week. Or as a social worker, sometimes we have to call the second and third week of school to find out why is the child not in school, and parents would say, well, miss, the van lady stopped working, so I don't have no means of transport. So those of you who need to get your transport in order, get your transport in order, get the books in order, the clothes, the uniform, you need to try it on. We may have had a little extra cake and ice cream and snacks for the Christmas.
Yeah.
So things may not be fitting as they're supposed to, so you may need to get a new uniform. Those who need to get shoes, all of those things that we take for granted, and we wait until Sunday night
Yes.
to start putting it together.
That's why the malls are flooded, Miss.
Yes.
The malls,
Yes.
the malls are flooded Sunday evening because before school opened, because we're now realizing, oh my gosh, we have this, that, and the other to get.
Yes, so those of you who are not prepared this week and you decide to give yourself one more week, I need you to remember the shoes, remember to try on the uniform, remember to see that there are buttons on the shirt, to pack the books in the book bag, talk to the van lady and the transport, and organize everything that needs to be organized for school. Because we don't want to have the children coming to school and the uniform too tight and it bursting on them, and they have to deal with that embarrassment, or coming to school late or not coming to school at all.
But I think the mental state is equally as important, because we can get so comfortable being home, so comfortable not having to get up and prepare the breakfast, and of course we're talking about the parents here. We're not even at the child as yet, not having to get up early and get all the breakfast and the lunch and the this and the that and the checking
And to face the traffic.
and to face the traffic. That I think the mental state too of the parent and the parent are taking time to make sure they're cultivating positive thoughts about getting back into that routine is happening. Because remember, if it is as a parent, you're, oh my gosh, we have to get back into this, and we start griping about it. How can we expect our children to be excited about something we are complaining about? And it happens far too often. Granted, we understand it is a transition, just like it is a break for the kids, it is a break for the parent, yeah?
And you know, it's not only a break, it's a Christmas break. So everybody
Yes.
playing with toys and going by family and having a grand time. So that whole mindset is total relaxation to total getting back into the whole routine and the school mode and whatnot. And what I want to encourage parents, even though we are in the first week, you see that good night's sleep, both for you and the child, try to go to bed a little bit earlier, because we know that you all have been liming a little later since it's Christmas holidays and we have
Yes.
everything just free for all. You're going in bed what time? Some of you may have stayed up the whole of Old Year's into New Year's and developed that break in your sleep routine. I want to encourage you to try and get back that sleep routine, as Miss Lewis was saying, to prepare your mental state for the traffic, for the for the driver that is late and hurrying, for the teacher that may not be there, so that your mind would be able to be ready.
Yeah, definitely. And I think as well, from an academic point of view, it's equally as important to get prepared to recognize the needs of your child.
Yeah.
Because after we've gotten the books and we're excited and we're positive, the reality is there are learner needs to be addressed. What what are we doing to make sure we support the learning process throughout the term? Because that does not necessarily happen spontaneously. So on one hand, parents, you want to reconnect with your school administration or the teacher, whatever system your school has set up. Be sure to reconnect. Different schools do academic reviews at different times or parent teacher meetings, whatever. Be aware, make sure you're in the WhatsApp chat or you're on the broadcast list or the email list to know that you're getting those email updates, what's happening in the school, important dates to remember, and so on. Stay in touch and make sure you're in tune on that level. And then even as we wrap up our little chat here about preparation, you want to be in tune with what the child needs. How were the grades last term? You know, if it is that parents, you didn't get results at the end of last term, it means you're getting it this week coming here. Take a look at the grades, compare them to the terms before. Are you, as you look at your child having gone into a new academic level September 2019, and they've been through the term, has the grades gone up? Has it dropped? Is it consistent? What's happening? Are you seeing your child where they struggled a little bit, the grade dropped a little bit last term? Don't take it for granted. If help is needed, get help. You know, it may not be the wisest option to say, oh, we go wait and see. If you are in a position to get help for your child, please put things in place, get the help that is needed so that learning can be a positive experience rather than a frustrating experience for the student because they're struggling. We want to take away that struggling element.
Exactly, because I think parents, you would have waited and see last term.
Yeah.
The results that were produced would have allow you the opportunity to see, okay, so this transition has happened. My child has moved from one class to the next, and this is the weak area that is appearing, or this is the strong area that is appearing.
Yes.
Now in term two, what can I do to help my child settle?
Yes. And so, even as we're talking about what we could do to help the child settle, we could take a moment here, Ms. Halls, to mention to elements of support, which is one, institutions like Victoria Literacy Center that offers support Saturday classes, math, grammar, creative writing, and for the secondary students, math, English, and science. That an institution like that is awesome, where they're giving that one-on-one attention, they're having that relationship with the other parents. They're doing monthly internal assessments, so parents can have that check-in throughout the term to make sure the child is improving and learning. So Victoria Literacy Center is one of the options when it comes to the academic support. And of course, if parents, you're listening, 282-6105 for Victoria Literacy. They're located on the Southern Main Road in Marabella, just opposite the police station car park. And when we talk about now emotional behavioral responsiveness, of course, ALEMACSS Associates is an awesome option to be able to get support, whether the child needs counseling, direction, guidance, getting support for the student, so that where there may be emotional challenges, where the child may have probably been struggling with bullying, peer pressure, other elements outside of learning and cognitive functions, but it's affecting the learning, connecting with a counselor through ALEMACSS Associates definitely could help with that. 3108979 is the number to call. That if as a parent you're saying, I think my child needs some counseling or some guidance support, ALEMACSS Associates definitely is an option there, yeah?
Yes, because what we have found is that a lot of children, even going into the new school term, they have this sudden thing that they no longer want to go to school, especially if the report was bad.
Yeah.
If the report was negative, I think a lot of them would look at themselves and, okay, I done so stupid and not doing the work and not able to do the work in this new standard, because probably they were performing a little better in standard 1 and now they're in standard 2 and they're facing some challenges.
Yeah.
So come, give us a call and we would sit down and we would work things out.
Yeah, definitely. And even as we talk about projecting for the term, we want to mention, parents, that goal setting is yet another very important factor when we're considering getting prepared for the new academic term. Miss, what is there that you could share in regards to goal setting?
I think with every level, helping the children to see that there's a bigger picture. What do you want to accomplish?
Yeah.
We have 3 months. There's normally 3 months in a term. This term we have 13 weeks. At the end of the 13 weeks, what it is would you want to accomplish? Is it that you got a F and you want to move to a D or a C? Is it that you got a B and you want to move to a A? Is it that you did well that you did bad in maths and you want to improve, or your percentage was 50% and you want to move to 80%? Set realistic goals.
Definitely.
Set practical goals, set smart goals.
Yes.
Goals that they are able to say, okay, I am working towards this. Is it that last term my behavior was terrible and the teacher had to be calling in, Mommy, this year I want to settle down, do my work, and not have Mommy come into school not one day for bad behavior? Those are some goals we need to sit with our children and start formulating. It would be nice if you take pen and paper and write it down.
I think an important question parents can consider and really encourage their children to consider as well in relation to goal setting is, how do I get it done? And how do I know if it's done? That measurable aspect is so important, because what begins to happen is that when we create these general sort of statements, oh, I want my child to do better. What is better? What it does, unfortunately, is cause us to go into this emotional state where we start observing a state of better based on how we feel and how it looks. And sometimes our perception can be misguided. So parents, we want to encourage you, even as you consider goal setting, as Ms. Halls said, write it down. Sit with your child and write it down together, discuss it. When you chat with your child about elements to do with goal setting, and you involve the child in that decision making process, you find the child is a lot more invested, because now it's not just something being told, this is what you're going to do, but they're part of the process, and now they're interested in seeing it to fruition. And of course, make sure you can measure the outcome. Is the outcome going to be based on a particular increase in grades? Is it going to be measured by a change in response, or a change in records regarding behavior, a change in teacher feedback? What is it going to be based on? Is it going to be based on discipline as evidenced by the student getting their homework done daily? Is it going to be based on demonstration of interest, where we're looking to see, are you willing to work independently? You come home from school, you have your homework, you have your revision. Are you waiting for me to call on you to say, hey, it's 5 o'clock, time to do homework? Or are you going to go pick up your book and do it on your own? So make sure whatever the feat here, that it's measurable, and you're really identifying what needs to be done and how you're going to know it's going to be done. So it makes it easy to celebrate.
Exactly. And Miss Lewis, part of that, how it's going to be done, has to do with our next point, which is setting that routine.
Yeah.
Setting that routine, that process, is how we're going to accomplish in term 2, 2020, getting to our goals.
Right.
How are we going to reach from where we are to where we want to go? And routine is something that we all have as part of our lives. And I think one of the things that I'm asking parents to do is make your routine intentional.
Yes.
And be conscious of the fact that this is what we do at this time. One of the things that we advise and encourage is a timetable.
Yeah.
A timetable to let the student know that, okay, so I want to accomplish this at the end of the 13 weeks. I need to do 2 hours of maths on a Monday.
Right.
30 minutes of English on a Tuesday.
Right.
A timetable is not a magical thing, but it helps build that routine.
I think it's important to Ms. Halls that when we start talking about timetables, that we be mindful to let the timetable be reflective of who we are, our habits, what works well. So when we look at, even let's say, our school timetable, and we realize on a particular day, oh, I'm drained, I probably have school and then I have a class and then I have to go home, then you don't want to pick the reading subject for that day and go on the bed and say, hey, okay, I'm doing it, and I go on the bed to read, right?
Definitely not. You know what would happen. You know what would happen when you do that.
Definitely. So you want to pay attention to what works for us. And when I say what works for us, of course, what works for each individual child. Parents who have 2 kids, 3 kids, please, we encourage you to remember that each child is different. Remember that. So what may work for one may not work for the other. And as parents, there needs to be a level of open-mindedness and patience to allow children to explore techniques that work for them. So for some students, it might be learning through read-write methods, and working with a textbook might be a great way to soak up all that information. But then for another student, maybe a multimedia presentation, a YouTube video on that topic. Now, of course, we have to put some boundaries when we start going down the multimedia road, right? But using that, because if at the end of the day, looking at a YouTube video on the water cycle would cause a child to be visually stimulated, where they see, they receive, they understand, they're excited, they're interested, they could remember, they could explain, they could regurgitate, then there is no harm to using that method, as opposed to now trying to force a child to read 10 pages from a textbook, and it becomes like a tooth pulling exercise. Some children learn really great when we have discussions with them. So if as a parent you have that option to say, okay, let's chat about it. What is a noun? The noun is the name given to a person, place, animal, or thing. Okay, so let's think about it now. What's the name of a person? And so instead of saying go learn that, you talk it through and you start to really prod at those thinking skills, those critical thinking skills, evaluation skills, analytical skills, reasoning skills. You are doing so much positive things for your child by engaging that. So the encouragement there, even as we think about the study routine, there is no need to get trapped in the traditional mindset of you must read these 5 pages.
Nope.
There are many ways to learn, there are many ways to receive information, and definitely what I could tell you, keep on looking out on our page, SRC Private Primary. So even as we post our student corner, we're going to be posting great tips during the entire term on our technology corner and our student corner that would give awesome tips to you, the parents, about different ways you can engage learning in the home. Yeah?
Yeah.
Anything else you wanted to add though on routines,
I
Miss?
wanted to add that, the academic performance and what happened in the classroom and even for the exam is an outcome of a lot of things that would have gone on during the term and at home. So when we speak about routine, we also speaking about going to bed on time.
Yeah.
We speaking about having proper nutrition,
Oh,
what
yeah.
the children are eating for breakfast, lunch, and even dinner. So those are the things that parents need to be mindful of in setting your goal, working towards the goal with a routine, being mindful of the fact that okay, my child may not like vegetables. How can I include the vegetables to make sure that the child gets a good breakfast in the morning, a healthy breakfast, a hearty breakfast, that when the child comes to school now, he or she would be able to sit in the classroom and be open to what is being taught. Also, some children normally go to bed all hours and you see them rushing into school late. The simple fact that school starts at 8:30 is a routine that the school has set.
Yes.
Parents need to be mindful that if school starts at 8:30, 8 o'clock, 8:15 for the latest is a nice hour for the children to come onto the school compound and settle down and not really get into mischief. We have children who normally come onto the school compound before. That's okay, you can have that conversation with them, but let your child know that going to bed on time will equate getting up on time, which will equate reaching to school on time.
And not only that, Miss Halls, but it also teaches discipline, eh? Because when we could get to a place where we could teach our children to be punctual, and we could be the exemplars of being punctual by dropping them off on time, picking them up on time, in the same way they would automatically get into that habit of timeliness, accountability, responsibility, because we are training them even through our example of how we coordinate for them to recognize this is the way to be, this is the way. And I mean, if it is, we've not always done it that way, maybe we may have indulged some not so good habits. It's never too late to start
Never
to
too late to
indulge
start.
those
Never-
positive
Never
habits.
too late to start, and that is why I want to encourage parents, even as part of the routine, to make conversations
Yeah.
and communications
Yes.
a part of their daily routine. If it's 5 minutes, if it's 10 minutes for the day, how was your day at school? What you have for homework? What are we going to do tomorrow? Do you have any projects? Did anybody bully you in school? What is your best friend name? Have some conversations that we know sometimes we normally too busy
Yeah.
to sit down and say, okay, like what is going on with you? Make conversation and communication a part of the routine, and we'll realize that all these behind the scenes activities contribute to good academic performance.
Definitely. So, yes, parents, we can have a good term. You can be prepared for an awesome academic term. And Miss Halls and I are simply taking this time to encourage you that even as we are within the first week of the term, it's not too late to engage preparation, whether it's the physical, stationery, uniform, other types of items, and preparations within your own mind and your emotions to engage it positively, get prepared, set goals, have timetables that are meaningful to both the parent and the student, and exercise discipline to stick to the routines that the timetable and the other interactions set. Responsibility and accountability is the name of the game. And once we exercise that, we begin to develop the discipline that is needed for academic growth and academic development, and even personal and holistic growth and development. So, Ms. Halls, as always, I'm so happy to be back out with you. Looking forward to continuing sharing in the podcast that is being streamed every Friday on the SRC Private Primary Facebook page. And of course, you can check out Parents, the YouTube channel, Parent Portal, so that you can get the link to share with your friends. Any closing words, Ms. Halls?
I want to encourage parents that don't give up. Those of you who are looking at the term, oh my God, I don't have this to start, I don't have that to start. I want to encourage you. It's 13 weeks. The children may not have done how you wanted them to do last term, but it's a new year. Be excited for them, prepare for them, set goals with them, get your routine in order, and as Ms. Lewis said, we're going to have a great term.
Yes, so as we sign out, I am Mrs. Lewis, Principal at SRC Private Primary, and joining me today was Ms. Halls, Lead Consultant at ALEMACSS Associates. To learn more about any of these organizations, you can call 310-8979. It was a pleasure sharing with you all today, and we look forward to having you join us for next week's edition of the Parent Portal podcast.